Hello everyone. So today I have some cards to share made with the February card kit of the month from Simon Says Stamp. I'm just going to briefly show you what comes in the box because I just got it from the mail. So I thought I'd open it with you real quick here. Let's see. Oh, this is this I think is a free gift that came with every order this month. Rainbow Splash, or not, I don't know what I'm saying, this one. It was something, don't quote me on that, it was a free gift though. I didn't pay for this. Sending hugs, you're the best, thinking of you, I love you. That's such a nice bonus. I think it was just at the time I was ordering it, so I don't know that that's still available, but it's a nice bonus. So everything, whoops, is in this lovely reusable paper bag if you're careful with it. Well, I already ripped it, but you know, it makes a nice brown paper. Alright, I'm going to turn this. We have a lovely little sweet here, strawberry lemonade. I don't really eat these, but my kids like them. So, and there is a Simple Stories. I got the big bits, and I think that there was something maybe called bitty bits. There were two. So, I don't know if I like either one better, but these have kind of fewer items and larger. So let's just have a look, see. Now this is a good card-sized item. I'm sure I'll find a use for that. And actually, you know, with my channel name and all, you kind of know I love butterflies. Oh, this is all one piece. So this is, you know, about 5 inches. That's pretty big. This is a card base for a standard A2 size card. That is gonna really fill it up, so it's a bit big. These are cute. Nice and small little items here. Love all of those. Too big for a card, but hey, you can do something else with this. And, I mean, I am an artist, so I do like those. Ooh, that's a nice large focal, point for a card. And of course I do a lot of journals too, so these will be great accents. The ones that are too big for the cards, this still fits on an A2 card. Still, you know, this is kind of, well, you could make it work on an A2 card, but I think I'm going to use this one more in a journal as a little, ooh, this would make a great, like, tuck spot, a little pocket, you know, if you glue on part of the sides. Yeah, I think that's where that piece is going to end up. We have some books here. This could work on a card, but also this would be really fun in a journal too. And the last one here is much too big. Really, it's too big for an A2 size card. This would be probably good for a 5x7, but I rarely do that anymore. I kind of stick to the A2. But again, beautiful element in a journal. So I guess that works out pretty well for me since I do both cards and journals. Now, this we should save for a minute because it kind of coordinates with the stamp set. Whoa, these are way thicker than I thought they were. Okay, so we have some gem sticker assortment. They are very dimensional. I wonder if it says how. It says approximately 3/8 of an inch, but I think that's not the depth. So I kind of thought they were more like epoxy, but they're substantial. Nice. And then we have a lovely Cascading Hearts embossing folder. I don't think I have anything with hearts, so I don't get every one of these kits. I don't get them every month, but I really liked the one for February. And then we have some foil transfer sheets in rose gold. It almost looks silver to me, but maybe it has a hint of rose in it. I recently replaced my laminator, and I got one that will do foiling, because I had gotten foil sheets in the past, but I've never used them except for like with glue because I didn't have any way to do it. So now I can do it, and I'm excited to try those. Oh, the papers were another reason why I wanted this kit. They're just so beautiful. This is too big really for a card, but you have two sides. But again, this could be a beautiful element in a larger journal or even just a nice thing to frame. Look at this beautiful background here with birds and flowers. Nice diagonal stripes here, and I love the aqua, kind of, it's more of a sea green, seafoam green kind of color, turquoise. Beautiful hearts. Ooh, pink polka dot, and the distressing edges, I like that. Here we have very large, where's my little, thinking of This is A2 card, size card. Using this element on the card, so you only get a little bit of the books, but it might work pretty well. We'll have to see about that. And actually, my little card base is a nice color with that. Did I show this side? No. It's nice and flowers. Ooh, some postage stamps. That's so beautiful. You could even cut these out individually. The only hard part about these papers is you only get one of each. And sometimes both sides are, it's double-sided, so you only get, you know, the one. You have to choose which one. I love the butterflies. Wait, there's more. Happily Ever After. I'm taking forever to go through these, aren't I? It's beautiful. Let's try to go through a little faster, or this is going to take a long time. Typewriting font. Ooh, and I love these cut-aparts because they are, as you can tell, a great size for an A2 size card. Definitely going to use that one because, you know, me and my butterflies. And then, of course, you have to see the other side too. Ooh, that's really nice with all those tickets. And then we get to the stamp set, which has this beautiful vintage-looking Polaroid camera. That's just fun. And I do have typewriters and stamps already, but there's something super special about this one. That is where this die comes in, and it cuts out the typewriter. I thought there was another die that cut out these, but maybe it's this piece right in here. Yeah, you probably, I think that's right. And then this line cuts a little slit, so I'll have to use some wire snips to separate these, but this is the perfect size to cut out this piece as well as the Polaroid piece. So these are going to be fun to make different cards and elements with that. And then we have a piece of metallic card. Oh, this is interesting. It's all one sheet. Now this is like the toner printed. I thought maybe they were already cut apart, but I can just cut them apart. It is, I wonder if it says on here, I'm sure somewhere. Ah, here we go. One new sheet of Simon Says Stamp Acetate Hearts Foil Transfer Cards. So these, as you can see, are the perfect size to cover the front of an A2 size card. That's a pretty one. And so that is, after I cut them apart, I'm going to have to try those with that. The foil, here are some inspiration cards by some artists, and then we have some cardstock. We have the pink, which is cotton candy pink, and then this looks like, I would call it ivory, but it is, oh, it is. Simon Says Stamp Ivory 100-pound cardstock, and black. I'm sure they just call it black. So 3 sheets of that, and that is what comes in the box. And now let's get to some beautiful cards. Card number 1, I'm starting with the ivory cardstock that I've made into a card base, and I have made a little background here using 2 of the pattern papers. This beautiful kind of golden yellow damask or marigold damask, and then this striped one, and I'm showing you the other sides there because they are double-sided, and that makes a nice background for the focal point. I also used the embossing folder with the hearts on the metallic cardstock and cut a square or a scrap out of that. Down here I'm gonna make kind of an anchor for my focal point, and the camera's having a hard time focusing on that shiny stuff. Sorry about that. So I'm placing that down there. It's really cute. And then there was this pattern paper. I just took a strip off the top because I really liked how the green went with it, and so I just barely got away with that without cutting into the image too much. And then I'm just going to glue that down onto the metallic embossed hearts, and that will just be a landing place for my image so it doesn't look like it's floating out there in the ether or whatever. And so then we're going to take the typewriter from the stamp set and the dies, and I have stamped it out with VersaFine Onyx Black and used some detail clear embossing powder. It cuts that nice slit out already, so I loved that. And that's my main image here. And then we're going to stamp out the note paper or the typewriter paper that comes along, and there's also the die to cut that out. So just showing you how I did that here. I stamped that out, And then again, I'm going to bring in the stamp set. For my sentiment here, I chose the hello, and that's kind of the main one. And then I hope this makes you smile is sort of like the secret bonus sentiment. So I've got them on this block here, and I'm going to stamp them out onto my paper here. I don't think I did a great job on this. I already have it stamped out again, so this is just sort of for the magic of video here, and it's not that great. However, don't worry, because I already stamped it out. So then we're going to take actually a couple more stamps from the stamp set. They have a couple tiny hearts on there, and just add a little bit of something extra here on the special secret message with a large heart and a smaller heart. Fits just barely right in there. And then we're going to grab the die and place it on there and die cut this out. I love that it comes with that. I mean, you could easily, it's not that hard to cut a rectangle, but it's just nice, and it has that perfect little white border. So love having that. Now I'm taking just whatever's at hand here, a thick tool, because I wanted to add just a little bit of dimension to this, to my little interactive element. This is going to slide in and out of the typewriter for the person who receives the card. And I love that the stamp set has the pull and the arrow. And I've just in the past handwritten it out, no big deal. But it's just really nice that it has it, and the fact that the arrow's separate means it's versatile. You can use it. I've used it 2 different ways, pulling 2 different directions. I'm definitely going to be using that tiny little part of this stamp set over and over, because I didn't have one. So now I have glued that to the back of the top so that you can see that the hello is showing, but the other part is hidden. And I thought I'd pop up the typewriter with some foam mounting squares here. I just need to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the mechanics of this little piece. So I'm kind of giving myself some lines here to know where to place things without getting in the way of the channel for the paper, the message. And so then I put all my foam down, and here I'm checking it. And I realize that I don't want it to go too far down. Like, I want the hello to always show. So I added some kind of bumpers down here so it can't go past there. So you don't push it too far in, if that makes sense. And then I can place my typewriter down, and I think I'm going to check it again here, see how this works. It looks great. I'm trying to decide if I want to make it not be able to come all the way out, but I decided I wasn't going to mess with that. So you can pull the thing all the way out. It seems to work pretty easily. So for card number 2, there's the cotton candy pink cardstock that I made into a top folding card base. And here are my background papers. I used the Polaroid camera paper here to make a panel for this A2 size card with a 1/4 inch border all around the edge. Then this beautiful paper, I cut it this way because I still want to be able to use that part for something else, but I used the polka dot side for a nice little square mounting or panel there behind the embossed hearts, which I embossed in some scrap white cardstock. And then I just trimmed it into a square. I think it's like 3 1/4 inches square. So I took some Distress Oxide spun sugar. I just wanted to give a little something more to this panel here. And I went around the edges and the hearts, and I really like how that turned out. That's just the background. So for this card, we're going to take this super fun Polaroid camera image. Again, I stamped it out in the Versamark, and the embossed it in the fine detail powder there. And this one didn't have a slit or a die, so I fussy cut it out. It wasn't too hard to cut it out, but then I made sure I had the right opening. So it's about 2 inches roughly to be able to get the Polaroid camera, or the Polaroid in and out. I just used a craft knife there, and definitely a cutting surface, not right there on my desk like that. So then we're going to stamp out the Polaroid portion here. And again, I just love that ink. It's very, very effective as long as you don't smudge it. That's the only issue with the VersaFine, because it's pigment based, so it takes a little longer to dry, but I get great results with it, so I use it for a lot. and then I'm going to die cut out the Polaroid. It's the same die for the little typewriter paper and the Polaroid. Perfect results. Love it. And then for this one, I'm going to do a little something different. So I took one of these cut aparts and I fussy cut out the heart and the love you so that I can use them on my little Polaroid. But I just wanted a little something extra there. So I am going to do some paper piecing. It took me forever to remember the term for that, but I think that's what it is. And so I stamped on the Polaroid there and then just cut out the part I wanted. It's slightly wonky, so I was paying attention to where those little lines are, but I think it doesn't really matter if it's off. But yeah, so I fit it in there, and that makes a beautiful little background. It's kind of a gray-green or green-gray with the polka dot there. And I just think it went, of course these all coordinate perfectly because they're all from the same paper pad, but just love the look of that. And then I'm going to put my little love you right in the center. So yeah, don't forget that those little cut aparts, you don't have to use it just as it is. You can, take it apart and use it differently. Again, the pull and the arrow. This time the arrow is pointing a different way because I want it to pull down. And it's great how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and place that on. I have a little extra there. I think I'd trim that off because I don't need that much on there. So yeah, go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to check this out, make sure it works. So I think the first time I did the slit, I needed to add just a little extra because I didn't want it getting caught. But there's just barely enough room there that you can still make an interactive element with the Polaroid camera as well. I have some repositional adhesive that I had on there. I'm taking that off. I'm just going to use a tiny thin amount around the edges here because I don't want it to get spread the liquid glue into where I need the Polaroid to be able to move in and out. So I was careful with that. This piece came off one of the cut aparts. I think it was the camera one that you'll see in the next card. And then it was like a scrap and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I used a scrap of foam, adhesive backed foam, and this scrap to be my sentiment for this card. And that will finish it off nicely. I think it's super cute. I did get a little crazy heavy-handed. I inked the edges. And so I'm trying to get a little of that back. But, it's just distressed. I'm going with it. A little bit of a distressed look there. So here we go. Check out the mechanics of this. Works pretty well. They can pull it out. They could trim it off and save it for something else. Here, I decided I'm just going to add a little something extra on here and took the stamp set with the word smile to put on the bottom of the Polaroid in that white space there. And that will finish off, and that way you can still see something. It's not just a white, I don't know. I just wanted to have that. So like when it's in, you can see smile, and I left a little out so you can see there's more. So for card number 3, we're using the black cardstock. I made a card base out of that and used the cotton candy pink as a panel, background panel. Taking the acetate sheets, this is probably the first time I did foiling, and it worked out great with my new laminator. And then I have that floral piece, which was the cut aparts, the one that had the camera on it where the last sentiment came from. This probably was one of the harder ones because I had to get it just right. And mine is a little off. Like, as you can see, a little bit of overhang here that I needed to trim off. And there was it didn't quite go to the right edge. So I just trimmed off a sliver there. No one will ever know. It's just slightly smaller. But yeah, it works out. It's not meant to be perfect anyway. So this was my die cut piece that came in the big bits, and I used some sharp scissors to separate the wings because I wanted to add a little more, dimension and interest to it. So I'm just going to glue on the bottom wing and the body there, and the top wing can kind of swing out a little bit. Curved it there. I just like to do that. I like to add a little bit of dimension and interest to things. And to finish off this card, since I've got that element in the top corner, I want to balance it in the bottom right. I didn't have a lot of small pieces because I didn't get the bits and pieces. I have these cool decorative scissors that cut kind of the postage edge. So I just trimmed out from that beautiful pattern paper the postage piece, and I even used the one right on the edge. That way it has a straight edge, but I'm covering that up. Might be a little bit of a hoarder there, but I just love that paper. So I'm being very sparing with it and getting the most out of it. But yeah, if I could buy a whole a whole pack of a couple of these papers, I probably would. I'm gonna have to look in to see if I can get some more of it. So finally, to finish this card, I'm just gonna use one of the sparkly, very dimensional hearts there and place that down. And I really like how this turned out. It's got a lot going on, but I think it's simple enough. Yep. So moving on to, what are we on now? Card number 4. This, again, is the ivory cardstock that I made a top folding base out of. Love the polka dots. This is the other side of that polka dot. That's my background paper here. This one's super simple. I took the cut apart. Of course, I was going to use the butterfly one. And then probably one of my favorite papers, the postage stamp one that has another beautiful polka dot on the back. I'm going to stagger these. When I get it where I want it, I gotta glue it down because otherwise I will move it and forget where I put it. So I just add a little glue right there, then glue the whole thing. This one is going to be a nice and flat card. So it's actually pretty nice for mailing if you tend to mail your cards out. So that one, that is why I decided not to add extra dimension later on. This was another piece from my Big Bits pack, a nice small butterfly, giving its wings a little curl with just some random pencil. And then I decided to just ink the edges. The spun sugar, it's very subtle, but I liked toning that white down a bit. And so that's what I'm doing there. I'm just going to glue most of it and leave just a little bit of the edge so that that curl can still be there. You can see the little shadow from my light. Here I was contemplating adding the heart stickers, but the reason I decided not to was so that this one could still be easily mailed and just be flat. I think it looks great just like that. For card number 5, again, the other half of that black cardstock I made into a card base. I don't have much left of this pink one, or at least I don't know what I did with it. So that was the other side of it. And then I have this big typewriter that is going to be the main focal point on this card. And pulling out the stamp set, I'm going to use the Thinking of You. This one I didn't prep ahead of time. Here's my cool Rabbit Hole Designs embossing powder, not powder, it's anti-static powder. I was just showing you because I just love this thing. It's kind of relatively new to me, but it's a cool design. So I'm just prepping the surface so that the embossing powder will stick to my ink and nothing else. So I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black again, and then I use that same clear detail powder to emboss this. And then I'm going to glue this whole thing down. And this card is almost done, just like that. They come together pretty easily, but I just want to add a little something. And so that postage stamp paper, I got a lot of use out of that because I didn't have a lot of small elements for accents. So, I mean, if I had the smaller bits package, I'd probably be doing these differently, but the same at the same time. It'd be something down there, but I might have a different, although I could do it the same because I have the postage stamps and I really like how this turned out. So I'm just going to stagger those two down there, and I think I do pull in the hearts again. And yeah, just find one. That looks nice there. And I think this one could have been flat, but then I embossed it, and so, which isn't that much dimension, but so on this one I did put the heart on. But if you wanted it to be mailed, you could just use a sticker or just leave the heart off for easier mailing, that is. You can always add extra postage. Here's the bonus card. Again, I'm bringing in that card base of mine that went so well with this color. And I really like how this card turned out because I wasn't sure if it was going to be too big for an A2 size card, but I think it's just right. It has everything and, it looks good like that. So I got some fun foam, adhesive back fun foam, and get it on there because I just wanted to pop up that whole thing because there's not much going on in this card, but it's still really cute and just it showcases that beautiful paper that came in the box. And I'm placing that down, and this could be done just like that. Boom, two things. I do add a little extra because, you know, I like a little extra sometimes. So throwing in those hearts again, just a trio of them down at the bottom. And I think I went with 3 different colors. It's very subtle, but you can see it there. And that's how I finish off the bonus card, the final card. Really cute. And I was thinking about maybe doing some gloss on one of these butterflies. So let me know what you think in the comments. Should I leave it? Should I gloss it? Yeah, I, for now, have not decided. Here's a quick look at all 6 cards. Again, this was a super fun box. I think I'll be having some fun making more cards with it in the future. And that's why when I saw the February one, I was like, okay, this is a lot of stuff that I can use and continue to use, and who could resist those papers? I hope you enjoyed seeing the cards, and as always, have a wonderful and creative day. Bye!